Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Again, we want to thank you for your support over on Patreon, which has been growing, and we are very, very thankful for that. Another thing that we're really, really thankful, if you've noticed, if anybody ever clicks and opens this up, this was the last video we just did, and it just hit me. We got to talk about this again because Cindy and I, we got done with the video. We do our ozone treatment sometimes before the video, and it's just amazing. It's amazing how good we both feel. I mean, I feel super clear, and we drank ozonated water as well as doing a rectal ozone treatment. Girls, you could also do it in the other area, and I also use it on a regular basis in my ears. You can use it for your gums. There's so many uses for it. All these things you could do at home. You can also actually go to certain offices. You would need to go to an actual doctor to get it done in an intravenous manner. And you might not have heard this, but ozone therapy is just... it's amazing. It really is. And so when you go down below in our tags here, you see first the Patreon, and the next thing is ozone therapy has been a lifesaver for us. It really has. It's not only restored our health, but there's things that have just disappeared, just totally disappeared, and it feels like we're literally turning back the clock. There is a link to Promo Life, which is who we use. They're in Arkansas, so they're relatively local for us, and they're great people, and they run you right through it. And Cindy's done most of the work with setting up and running all the equipment. It is an investment, and this is one of the things why we haven't spoken as much about it, because it may be, unfortunately, out of some people's budget. But you can't get started for relatively low cost when you look at it's your health and how much do we spend for health care. I don't spend anything on any sort of health insurance because I haven't had any for like 11, 12 years now, because I wouldn't go to a regular MD anyway. I mean, if I broke my arm, we're going to end up paying out of pocket. If you were in an accident, something like that. Yet at the same time, how much have you spent over the course of a dozen years into your healthcare programs if you're working for a corporation, etc.?
Right. And, I'm not afraid to say it. As far as you can use the ozone rectally, you can use it vaginally, you can do what's called ear insufflations. You can do it in the sinuses, but you have to do it a special way. You have to take a deep breath. So there's some instruction involved with all of it. You cannot inhale it. And because of that, the FDA has deemed it a dangerous substance, So I think
it's very dangerous to the FDA because it will take away from the profits of their cohort, Big Pharma.
It will. And I was in such a position, when it comes to doing anything through Western medicine. I went against everything the FDA suggested, and I'm doing so much better. It's just, it's just the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And you might think the only thing I ever heard about ozone is, the fact that there's an ozone layer in the atmosphere that gets depleted at times. This is part of the system. There's a reason why it gets depleted, because they do things to deplete it, because they can't have us living as long as we would in, say, a Satya or a Treta Yuga in a gold or silver age. We live much, much longer lives. We are living purposely abbreviated lives. The system makes our lives shorter. Doesn't help us. It makes our lives shorter. And in fact, when there's a stronger ozone layer, when there's more oxygen, the proportion of oxygen does vary by the yuga in the atmosphere. More oxygen, healthier, we're bigger, we're stronger, we're more vital, we think clearer. It's amazing, really, the simple things in life. It's all about the simple things in life. We'll give you a link. This is the Power of Ozone. She's got 6.86 thousand subscribers, 165 videos. But this is a good one to go to, as well as Promo Life's. Again, you could reach their YouTube channel through our link too. And it does support the channel when you go through our link. It's one of the few things that we would ever consider, because, we've had a million offers to advertise games, advertise role-playing games, advertise equipment, even advertise antivirus stuff, which, I could see the need for that, or, things like that, virtual shields. But we just don't want to sell stuff. We really, really don't. But this can save people's lives. Absolutely, it can save people's lives. Drinking ozonated water, which we just did, it's just amazing. I never have allergies, and I drank that, and all of a sudden my sinuses are pouring, and my eyes are watering for about 2 minutes, and then it went away. And what was that? Well, that was a die-off. It is doing things that antibiotics won't do, because, again, antibiotics are going to wipe out and scorch everything in your body, and they leave your immune system in a worse state. This is what the system does. The system wants us dependent on the system. It's just that simple. The system wants you dependent on the system. Ozone triggers the repair of mucous membrane in the colon, provides the immune system with plenty of oxygen to perform their job. In many clinics in Europe, rectal ozone is used as a main therapy to heal leaky gut. I've worked in clinics before, and I can't count the people that have quote unquote leaky gut syndrome. They have all sorts of toxicity issues. If they were born in a different age, they wouldn't have these issues, because, again, it's environmental, and it's purposely environmental. It's put out there so that we will run to the DR, and what will happen is one step after another, you're destroying your immune system, and you're losing your ability to repair your body. And really, it's so sad that it's a cycle that ends up, it ends up out there in the cemetery plot. Just that's what it is. It's not about enabling the individual to become the healthiest, best version of themselves, because just look at the side effects of everything listed with modern medicine. Cure eczema, cause cancer. Do you want to risk that? This is safe. Again, you don't inhale it directly into the lungs, because it can cause a severe irritation. At the same time, it does, when ozone is running, it smells like a pine forest is what it smells like. I feel like we're at 10,000 feet elevation, and we're somewhere in New Mexico or Colorado, and there's that fresh scent, like a pine forest scent. It smells so good. This is a little tweet from a long time ago. New York City foot doctor says he performed ozone therapy for Ebola on the president of Sierra Leone. Claims the funding came from a Rotary, Santa Rosa, California doctor who partnered on the aborted project. Claims Sierra Leone Ebola director involved in, and, they do rectal ozone treatment at home because it works. And not only that, this equipment, the guides insisted that we had for this. We didn't really understand or know anything about this equipment. We had no clue. Cindy channels, the guides say, get ozone treatment, ozone therapy for your home. You're going to need it. They told us this about 2.5, 3 years ago now. And I was like, okay, well, the guide said to do it. We'll do it. How much is it? Cindy told me, and I said, oh my God. And, because we are not rich, but hey, we made it work. And, we do have now probably $3,000 or $4,000 worth of equipment. And we live in a house that costs $90,000. this is what our priorities are: our health, number one, and first and foremost, because without your health, you have nothing. And this has been a life changer. I can't tell you how immediately good you feel from this. Now, you might feel immediately horrible if you've been eating McDonald's and all the junk foods, taking in a lot of simple sugars, because the process of detoxing can be very, very painful.
Mm-hmm. There's so many applications for ozone. It doesn't really have to be intimidating, because it is. I mean, for one, it's a big investment. Two, what if it doesn't work, or what if I don't like it? My advice is that if you have health problems, any autoimmune issues, anything that doctors cannot figure out, if you have, like, in the corner of your room, a huge graveyard of supplements that just simply did not work, I would suggest getting into it and dabbling into it, maybe finding a clinic that could give you a couple of treatments to see if it's worthy of home use. But it's really huge for autoimmune. It can balance hormones. The ozone water I made myself today really gave us both a huge boost. So it's like the oxygen and everything permeates your body and saturates your tissues, and your body's going to feel good. It's going to thank you. But that the warning of going too much too fast is a very, very valid warning. You don't want to have a huge die-off. But I know people are sick. They're in pain. They want to get better yesterday. They want to have no pain 10 minutes ago. But it's critical that you start slow, because this is more of a natural process, and Mother Nature works with the time of perfection. She will heal you. And this is a very good way of going with what Mother Nature has to offer and amplifying it to heal whatever is going on. So, unlimited, if there's unlimited yeast infections, it can deal with that. Cancer, it can deal with that. It's like Big Pharma's biggest nightmare. I mean, because if you have like an autoimmune disease, you're trying to like put all kinds of stuff in yourself, in your body to heal it. Even fasting can be difficult, because I could only fast for so much. But when you get the ozone, it starts that die-off process of all those yucky things that parasitic. I mean, I blame like 95% of everything on parasites and toxins, the things that are environmentally are in our body, and parasites. Those two things, it's ozone slowly helps your body leach that out. So as your body is leaching these things out via the ozone, your health is reclaimed, and you don't need all of those supplements. So that's what I noticed for myself. And that was the big one. It's like, wow, I did not need this graveyard of supplements in my corner. And honestly, sometimes when I mention it in any kind of media platform, it really gets covered up and hushed. A lot of people don't like to mention it, because then you're not going to buy certain supplements. So even the natural aspect of the healing modalities, it seems like there's a little bit of a hush cover up for that too. But if your condition is severe and you haven't had any luck, and it's been years and years and years and years and years, I would seriously consider looking deeper into ozone to give yourself more of a chance, because that oxygen, I tell you, it's the first thing that we breathe to animate our bodies, and it's the last thing that goes out of our bodies, and then that unanimates us. So having it in our bodies while we're here is definitely going to be super healing.
And ozone is simply a third oxygen molecule added to oxygen. So what the machine does is it takes a regular oxygen molecule, O2, it then is split by ultraviolet C to create two single oxygen atoms, and a single atom is added to the regular oxygen molecule to create O3. And that gives you oxygen that's then used to become a scavenger, destroying pollutants, bacteria, viruses, and odors as well. That's why you'll find like room purifiers, kills the mold and etc. But that's not the equipment we're talking about. It's not an air purifier. This is equipment that's made to bring the ozone into the body. Medical grade, yeah. So very, very different. While the third atom is very powerful in contributing to the destruction of viruses, fungi, and bacteria, it has a short life cycle of about 20 minutes, leaving behind only pure oxygen. And it's super potent. It's like Cindy had to tell me to back off the training a little bit yesterday. She's like, you're grabbing the kettlebells, they're getting heavy again. It's because I feel good. And I was really, when we left New Mexico, neither of us were really feeling good. We got zapped in Mississippi by a triangle. They again use radiation to blast people regularly. There's not just the radiation from your microwave, your cell phone, from the FIVEG towers. They also will definitely target individuals and zap them. And I think back to, when my daughter was real little, and we were at the beach and we saw a flying triangle in Connecticut going over West Haven, Connecticut. We were at the beach, Charles Island in Milford, and we watched this thing for 20 minutes, and it was almost like it was scanning houses, because I think it was scanning houses. And I think they do look for people that are threats to the system. That means somebody with an active pineal gland, somebody with a light body that is activated, which is becoming bigger and bigger proportion of the population. At the same time, a lot of the population has had it turned off because they've gone a certain route with the ouches, if you know what I mean. But that doesn't mean that that's permanently turned off, because the sun is doing its thing. It's sending us energy all the time. It's a lot of it is our intent. You anchor that light. You knowingly take that sunlight in, you visualize it, restoring health and balance to your body. Doing stuff like this, the ozone, this can accelerate healing. This can create the environment, too, that so much of the nastiness that's out there in this world can't handle. It can't handle it. It's going to leave your body. And this is, I think, key for what comes next. Because we've all talked about this thing that's very, very Ebola-ish that's coming at some point in time. And yes, it might be just amongst a certain portion of the population, because again, think to a pool. When you adjust the pH to a certain level, nothing can grow in it. Nothing can grow in it. It's not going to be able to turn green. And it's the same thing with our bodies, and and alkalinity is something to make note of with your body as well. We do have ketosis strips that we'll utilize. You can check your alkalinity level with little strips again that are not expensive. Really take the time to really take care of yourself, because if you don't have your vehicle in optimal shape, it's going to be really tough to make it through these times. Not impossible, but it's going to be tougher. And really what we need to do is become the best, strongest, healthiest version of ourselves. And the sun and nature and the real creator of this universe is doing that. The tools are coming to us. They're trying to block it. Because again, when we take that step out of the Kali Yuga, human lifespan could go tenfold. It could increase tenfold. It's the system that keeps us in these shorter lives. So there are a lot of articles, and the infamous NIH as well. You'll see a lot of these articles that will show you too. I mean, they acknowledge this stuff works. It could be helpful. It has shown promise. It could be helpful. Why don't they push it? Because they're not out there to help us live 1,000 years in a healthy manner. That's the bottom line. Could ozone therapy be the best treatment for chronic disease? I don't know if it's the best, but it's one of the best. Absolutely. So is it the answer for Ebola? Well, there were patients that were given ozone therapy that completely recovered from Ebola when others did not. And so, again, there's studies. These are medical studies that will show you And they know. But there's no control in this. There's no profit in this. No control, no profit, and a humanity that could live much longer lives. I really, truly think that our little ones right now, if they weren't born into this system, I bet you they'd be living 200 to 300 years. I really do. Healthy years.
Well, I look back at the indigenous people, and what I feel energetically is they were living a couple hundred years, and it wasn't difficult. And why? Because of the purity of the water, the purity of nature, the purity of everything that they were putting in their bodies. So what ozone does, the medical grade ozone goes in there and it helps bring back that purity by allowing all of those toxins to leave the body. And I just can't say enough about it. I mean, a couple of things I wish I would have really heeded was don't go too much too fast, because I was so miserable. And gosh, I just wanted out of the pain. So I did too much too fast. I made myself a little bit sicker. So it didn't really set me back, but I did have to go through some pain because my body's having a huge die off. And that hurts. When things are dying in your body, they're giving off more and more of the yucky stuff. So your body has to get rid of more and more yucky stuff, right? So it can get kind of clogged up. So that's probably my number one thing I wish I would have done differently. Everything else, I have absolutely zero regrets. I mean, it's not that hard to use the equipment. They're very kind with their phone calls. They do offer Zoom calls to help set the equipment up, and I've utilized that with them, and they're so good at it. And let's see, trying to think of what else people might want to know. Just no regrets, making our own ozone water is what we do. My next so then we got the EWAT. So when you do ozone and then do EWAT, you're really saturating the whole body with a lot of oxygen, which is what we need to heal. And then my next thing that I want to get is going to be an oil bubbler, because I want to make my own ozonated oil. So the water is really good, but it doesn't hold the ozone very long. You have to drink it right away. But the oil, you can bubble ozone inside of oil, and that will hold, ozone will hold inside the oil. So you just do something like olive oil, and you can use that as Neosporin, unlike anything, and it's going to help the body heal.
And this is, this is Cindy in the morning. Yeah, this is, and I did a half hour yesterday. It's way more effective, honestly, using this system and doing a half hour than, say, maybe going an hour without this system. What it does is you can manually cycle through periods of going from super oxygenation, where you're taking in a much higher oxygen percentage than typical in the big bag, and then there's a small bag that you can click a button and all of a sudden you're at 10,000 feet. And so you push it at 10,000 feet for a while, which means, again, that it's an oxygen deprived state. So you go from having oxygen saturation to oxygen depletion. It causes your body to make changes and to acclimate to that. So, this has been something that's been utilized in fighters, especially MMA, for a long time, and just real high-level athletes. But you don't got to be a high-level athlete for this to help your body function. It could absolutely, restore so much to you. I was having a lot of hip pain, especially in my left hip. I ruptured 2 discs a long time ago, and when I ruptured them, I jammed my SI joint. So I always have this tendency for it to get compacted and a little tilted. One of the things that I do have, and I've utilized for 30 years now, is a table that will let you hang upside down, because just simple decompression, combine that with the oxygen, and you have healing, you have restoration. I was told, again, by not just the doctor when I ruptured those discs, but also by the therapist that, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get you to that point where you can operate, naturally anymore. Certainly you won't be the same type of person that you were, because I was the type of person that was training 6 days a week and sometimes 7. Between running miles and heavy duty weightlifting and martial arts, I've always been really, really active. And they were totally wrong. And I did not get surgery. I never went under the knife in my entire life. Nobody's ever cut into me. Again, you can restore yourself with natural ways.
Arthritis. I mean, it's a huge help for arthritis, but I just want to stop for a second and separate the EWAT exercise with oxygen therapy is totally separate from the ozone, but they work together beautifully. I mean, it's like white on rice. I mean, they just work.
It's like Cindy and Mike.
That's so cute. That is really cute. He gets so many points for that one. Okay. back to this, as I'm blushing because he looks at me and I get nervous. So whenever I start babbling, you guys know he's looking at me like that. I'm googly-eyed. So it's sweet. I'm not complaining. It's adorable, but it does get he still gives me butterflies. I love that. He still gives me butterflies. So if you're in a real chronic position, the EWAT therapy it's just oxygen. It's not as intimidating as the ozone, and your body is really going to benefit. And again, they sell that at PromoLife. Now, PromoLife is so cool because they also sell the oil that I talked about, the ozone oil, ozonated oil. You can buy some stuff for your teeth if you're having gum problems. Receding gum lines, the ozonated oil is going to help that. If you're having other issues, cavities, I think the ozone oil is definitely going to help with that because it gets oxygen in there. I just want to be in a position where I can make all of my own stuff at home, so I'm going to buy an oil bubbler next. But they also sell these other things called glitamins, and they're basically rectal suppositories. So if you take vitamins in your stomach, you have leaky gut and it's just pouring out all of your stomach and you're not really getting anything from the vitamins, you can get them in the suppository way. So you take them a little bit differently. You don't take them daily. You take them every 3 days. But PromoLife has all these cool toys. You can even get ozone to wash your clothes with. You can get a whole house fluoride that takes out the fluoride out of your whole house. So there's a lot there. It's not just ozone, and they do have a lot of videos. And this other YouTube channel we gave you with this doctor lady, she's really animated. She's a lot of fun. She makes the boring stuff fun. So highly recommend going through and learning about ozone through her. And then we are affiliated with PromoLife, so it does help support the channel. And the only reason we're affiliated with them is because I feel that it saved our life. So to me, I couldn't be a better salesman to something that I know works for real.
Yeah, absolutely. And so anybody out there that did that thing that they regret, I really think this could change things. Huge, yeah. I think it's huge. And I do think, again, with what's coming, if there is going to be something that's hemorrhagic, this might be the thing that enables you to overcome it or not succumb to it. Again, it's all about our body's terrain, and we only really eat healthy stuff, as healthy as possible. So we don't take in junk food. We don't eat out at all anymore because we don't know who's fixing it. So we're so careful about what we put into our bodies. But really, this is the one thing that makes you immediately feel like something is super working. And as I was saying, that like left hip pain is not there. It hasn't been there now for months. It totally went away. I had some arthritis in my hands because I again have been very, very physical, from, breaking boards in karate, etc., to lifting really heavy weights, to just working really hard like so many of you. And when you get, around 60-ish, your body just, the guides have to constantly tell me, hey, tell him to back off because I'm still kind of having that desire to train like I'm 20. But, there is some damage to the body that perhaps can't be completely overcome. But at the same time, I feel great. I mean, I really do. I feel really good. I have tons of energy. I don't really get tired, per se. There will be bouts like when, the sun sneezes and stuff. Sometimes we will both feel like we're getting downloads and we just got to go and sit down and, maybe we take a 15-minute nap and soak in that beautiful prana that's coming off the sun, and then go back to doing things. The 300-year-old Qigong master that we've talked about in past lives, Cindy's been able to connect to him. And one of the things that he said was sleep like a dog.
Dogs take these really wonderful naps, and they sleep really hard when they do naps. So definitely get your naps when you need them. It's regenerative. There's just... when you look at the different forms of plasma, you look at water, oxygen, ozone, it's all just different forms of plasma. And depending on how that goes into your body's going to be able to utilize it as long as it's in a purest form possible. Your body can utilize that to a very high degree. Just before I forget, the other thing you need with ozone is you do need an oxygen source. Now, we use concentrators, oxygen concentrators, but you'll see some lines of thought where they think, it has to be, just pure oxygen in the tanks, and maybe people feel good with that, and that's fine. Do that, but we went with the oxygen concentrator because for us it works, and it's unlimited, and these oxygen concentrators last for years and years and years, so you don't have to worry about getting your tank filled. Maybe you know a doctor or somebody who can help you get oxygen tanks refilled. That would work really, really well. So there is different price lines. Now they also have with them the ability to make payments, so that you do have to go through like a process through PayPal. I'm just saying that because sometimes we were really pretty poor, but we pulled it together. We made it happen because we had a decision to make. We knew that all the other alternatives were not working, and we knew this one was, and the guys were really insistent about it. So we just made it happen. We figured it out, and here we are.
Yeah, and this is part of what some people won't be able to understand, but I know, again, most of our regulars will understand. When we get a clear message from the guides, we totally do it. We don't even hesitate. And so, the initial, what did it cost us? I think under $2,000 to get started. And you can go even lower. You said the cheapest one is about 600. So you can't even go lower. Now, some of our family members have gone and gotten stuff that we don't even have, like the sauna. Yeah, there's a sauna you could immerse your entire body in. There's even more equipment that we don't have. As you can see here, there's videos. So they're great people. We feel really good about them. They feel just so honest and compassionate. They're again up in Northwest Arkansas, so they feel like neighbors. It's something I think that absolutely not only save your life potentially with everything that's been thrown at us, but it feels like it could roll back the clock for so many people. If you have so much of, and we're going so long in this video, but it's so important, so much when it comes to the deterioration of our body has to do with not absorbing oxygen in nutrients. And this could help rectify a lot of that as we age, as we get older. For those of you that are getting close to your 6th decade of life, like me, right. If you're a young spring chicken like Cindy there, maybe not the case.
Well, no, I kind of went through something that aged me like 20 years, so this is definitely helpful. But it's not just for you in the home either. It can be for all of your family members, anyone who has done that ouch thing. This is really good for them. What?
I haven't asked. Cindy is I ask her because she's the one that's done the most research on this. I mean, I have some basic knowledge and done some, but Cindy's our expert. I would think if you had a pet that was suffering, like gastrointestinally, etc., or anything degenerative, I think giving them ozone water would probably boost them too.
That's what I did with Sita when she went through we had to get her spayed. She had severe hormone issues and she was really miserable. So we went through that process. And that's what I gave Sita. I made her ozone water, and she healed, so fast. And she's a much better dog than she was before. She has more energy now than she did before. All of those processes helped her. So, yes, and there is even, if you want ozone for your pets, there's O3 Pets, where it's a place where they sell equipment for pets. I'm not familiar with it at all, but I would feel good about giving my animals ozone water, my own ozone water, and even making ozone oil for them if they got an owie or a cut or something. But it's for the whole family. You just want to go slow. That's so critical that you go slow. Now, another thing that I did run into is from the die-off, I ran into quite a lot of anxiety, and it took me a little while to push through that. But with persistence and just following my own intuition, I did push through that anxiety. Now I'm using ozone every day, and I'm making progress, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just amazing. So we wanted to share all this with you guys. Again, when you open up the videos, like when this particular video here, you just basically click the little area, and right here, this will take you straight to Promo Life, and you could learn more about it. We need all the things we could possibly utilize in this time period to keep ourselves healthy. So again, we want to help you guys, and we love you, and we care about you, and that's why we do these videos. We are so thankful for the big, beautiful family that we have here at Evolutionary, EEARTS, and Hearts Home, and of course, Patreon and Ko-Fi. Much love. Look forward to your comments and questions. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.